I would start working on these journals. I'm actually pretty excited to get started on them. We finished the book sale and got everybody's books shipped out and everything. And if you noticed, I deleted the videos that, you know, were showing you guys all the books that we had for sale. And if we are able to do that again in the near future, we certainly will. That was pretty fun. I've been getting good books from him lately, so so that's good. We can pass those along. Anyway, so I haven't done any larger size journals for quite a while. Well, I guess it's been a little over a month. I did the last ones, I think, were Reader's Digest. Anyway, so I showed these to you guys, and I thought we could maybe do some work on these together, and I'll just kind of take you along on my process as much as I, you know, can share or whatever. Sometimes I do have a tendency to work ahead, and I have to catch you guys up. But anyway, so I decided to do these How and Why books. They're thinner, and I asked for feedback on what I should do with the spines. Everybody that commented on it suggested that I leave the spines thinner like this, so I decided I'm going to try. Unfortunately, the spines are sort of brittle, and so I've had a hard time with gutting them and not damaging the cover at all. I have had some slips, and but I think that they're, you know, repairable. See, I've just got a few little dings and stuff, and I'll show you why. I've got one more that I'm going to gut, and I guess I'll just take you guys along. They're really tight. The spines, since they're so small, it's kind of difficult to get my blade in the right spot when, you know, when I'm trying to cut the book block out. So what I've been doing, and, you know, I don't know if this is the absolute best way to do it, but I'm sort of trying to just break that little bit of a seal of glue that is on the very edge. See how tight that is? It's like, so sometimes I'll just like kind of bend it like that, and then try to push this back. It's really hard in the center part right here. The ends aren't so bad, but it's that center part that it's just really hard to get to. And I would, you know, sometimes you can take the book and go through the center of the book block and cut through right here. But the way these books are bound, they're bound with like a lot of textbooks are, where there's actually staples that go through like here and here, and then like this whole book block is bound together before it's put into the spine, right? And then, so I don't know if you can see, but there's like a thick thread that goes through in about, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, like maybe 8 spots in the center of this spine, or in the center of this book block. So maybe you guys can see what I'm talking about. See where it kind of goes through. Anyways, it's really hard to cut through. So I worked up a sweat when I started on these. I've done 4 of them, but so this is the last one. So anyways, I guess, you know, my best advice with this type of thing is to just take your time, use a brand new blade. If you guys buy X-Acto knives, like if you have this style of X-Acto knife or whatever, you can buy replacement blades on Amazon that are way cheaper than buying the X-Acto ones. I think I paid like $8 for these, 120 of them. And so that just makes it a little cheaper for you to discard the used blades. This is the larger size, the number 2. If you want, I'll leave a link in the description to those on Amazon. And then there's also some smaller ones. I think those are number 11s. But anyway, so I like these larger blades. So, you know, I just have to kind of slowly work my way down. And, you know, there's also like canvas, like fabric that this is glued onto. You know, I mean, they bound these books extremely well. They're very sturdy. So anyway, so did I just cut through it already? There's just a lot of stuff in the center here that you kind of have to cut through, and you just have to take your time and work your way down carefully. And I guess, you know, I should take my own advice sometimes, but I sometimes get frustrated and I just start cutting. And just kind of say, well, I'm just going to cut it. And if I cut through the spine, then I guess that's just what happens. But I'm trying really hard to not do that. Try not to cut towards yourself when you're using an X-Acto knife. Just saying. And I've done 4 of these already, and I just changed the blade again. So this is a brand new blade in this that I'm using. It might not be a terrible idea if you have a helper, somebody to help you, you know, hold this apart while you're cutting. Somebody who has some patience also to help you cut this apart. Normally, you know, I would probably just cut the covers off, which is why I think the last time I made a series of journals out of a set of these before, of these exact books. And I wound up just cutting the front cover and the back cover off. See, it's it's already torn right there. Okay, I guess it didn't. I guess it was just the, see how much stuff is in there? There's so much glue and everything in there. Okay, so this one might actually turn out to be, well, we'll see how I do on the back. But so on the back, I fold this over so that I feel like I'm less likely to cut through the spine. But you just gotta take it slow. Just be careful with your fingers. Trying to angle the blade towards the book block and not towards the cover as I'm doing this, so I don't accidentally cut through the spine. Okay, got it. Whoops. All right, so you can see there's quite a bit of cleaning up that needs to happen on those. And I'm going to hang on to those book blocks because there's lots of pages in those books that I want to use. So next thing I would do then is just kind of gently pull back on anything that's not glued really well, you know. If I feel like my pulling is going to tear the fabric on the spine, then I'm not going to cut it off or pull it off. I'm just going to leave it on there. So it's basically like anything that is kind of already a little bit loose, I'm going to try to get rid of. And I'm using these short scissors because they're just easier to kind of get in and cut these. Trying to be careful, like I said, that I'm not cutting through the fabric of the spine. Anyway, so isn't this fun, you guys? So I don't know about you guys, but our family, we have this, all my boys, I have 5 sons, in case you didn't know that, 5 adult sons, and one of them, Sebastian, lives with me still. But even before COVID, we've always had this like family text, like group text thing, you know. So I asked them in the group sometimes, like, who's got a good movie, like who knows a good movie to watch, or, you know, stuff like that. But I've asked a couple times and I don't get any response, so I have a feeling like none of them watch movies or something. Anyway, so I'm asking you guys. I'll tell you what kind of movies I like, and then maybe you have some good ideas. Maybe if you like similar kinds of movies. Okay, so yeah, tell me what's a good movie like that. And I have pretty much every, like, you know, streaming service. I don't have Hulu, but we do have, you know, Netflix, and I have HBO. I have all the premium channels on cable. So anyway, tell me a good movie to watch, you guys. I really need some good movies. I'm tired of watching the same ones over and over again. But I like fantasy type of stuff, and I like action movies. I don't really like murder mysteries, and I don't really like horror movies, and I'm not super into comedies. And I really am not super into chick flicks. So I like science fiction and that kind of stuff. So anyway, okay, so this one turned out pretty good. I'm actually pretty happy with it. I didn't get, you know, I didn't worry about every single little tiny bit, because I'm going to actually glue a lot of this stuff back down and use it to help me strengthen the spine. These were like painted, right? So some of the paint has kind of, as I've been, you know, semi-violent with it, is starting to kind of flake off a little bit, because, you know, they're pretty old, but I don't think that really, you know, doesn't really even show. Anyway, so I'm just going to go through and do same thing to the rest of these. I'm going to pull off anything that is kind of already loose, you know, and carefully remove it. and try to get them all kind of cleaned up. Not perfect, but you know, anyway, just trying to get rid of all this extra stuff. Okay, so I'm going to do that on all of these. And then I've got these guys that I'm going to do at the same time. Okay, I'm going to work on these concurrently because they're pretty much the same size. I mean, these are slightly larger, but not by much, you know, just a little bit. So I feel like I can cut paper and, you know, prep pages and stuff for both books at the same time. And then I also was going through all my book covers a couple days ago, and I found these that I had started on a long time ago, and just never got to them. So I think I might do these two also at the same time and just kind of do them all in a similar style. You know, these are slightly smaller in height than the Lands and Peoples, but that's okay. I mean, I don't mind trimming pages for, you know, 2 journals that don't match the rest of whatever I pull out. You know, I don't know if any of you guys have watched kind of how I organize all my pages for junk journals. I sort of do them all at once. So, you know, I might have to trim some stuff to fit into those, but that's okay. Anyway, so these were actually a lot easier because the spines are wider and they're not like glued in onto the very back part of the spine. So these were super easy, and I already kind of started on one of them. So see how easy that was? Way easier than the how and why. Again, I'm just trying to make sure that I'm angling my blade towards the book block and not towards the cover. So I really don't want to cut into that spine. Just in case it slips or something, you know. It's hard to maintain a perfectly straight line when you're applying a lot of pressure, right? So these, they kind of got like a little bit water damaged or something. So some of the pages are really sticking together. And I'm sure I will save the end pages from these and use those in the journals. And I don't know, I might go through some of those and pull out some pages to use also. And then I'm just going to do the same thing on these covers, and just kind of trim off this excess material that sort of hangs over. Whatever is sort of loose, right? Like I don't want to really... If it's glued on really tight, then I just kind of leave it, you know. But if it's loose like this, I'm going to cut it off. And then sometimes I'll take a like a piece of sandpaper. I use this sandpaper on a popsicle stick or craft stick. And sometimes I'll just go and sand this with like a really coarse sandpaper, just to kind of thin it down a little bit, and that makes it easier. Makes it easier to sort of bend it. I don't know if that makes any sense, but it makes it a little bit more flexible, so I can just run some glue right down the edge of that and hold it in place if it needs it. kind of, the glue that's on there is really stiff. So I'm just trying to like break that down a little bit so that it's more flexible. See, and then that kind of loosen that up too. I mean, you know, they're not all going to be, not every book is put together the same. You know, not every book in this series is going to be, you know, as, they're just all going to be different. Like every single book has its own sort of challenges, you know. Anyway, so I think that's pretty good. And, you know, if any of this paper starts lifting, I can either, like if it's lifting and it's like lifting all the way out into here, and I really want to try to salvage this paper that's on here, then I won't cut it off. I'll glue it down, you know. But anything that's like inside this spine area, that will be, you know, kind of chunky and weird. I want to get that all off of there. So anyway, so I'm going to do the rest of these covers just like that. And then so when I started on these way back whenever, I don't remember when, I had done a whole series of just like writing journals, and they were just all filled with like blank paper. And I think I was going to try to do these like that also, but I think they were like too big or something. I don't know. Anyway, these covers were pretty much the same as these, and since I was able to get them relatively smooth, you know, there wasn't much glue or anything kind of like in the way on these, then I was able to just do like some collaging on this spine area. The only problem with that is that over time it'll start to break. That paper will start to break, and I was really just trying to cover that up. This is going to need some more, like, what's the word? Reinforcement. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to glue some cheesecloth on there with the PVA glue. Okay, and the reason that I'm going to use that is because it's flexible, and it dries transparent too. So I'm just going to cut a piece of this cheesecloth. This is the super fine cheesecloth that I get on Amazon also. I used to just use some of that gauze bandage, that I think I have one roll left, but I don't know what happened to it. Anyway, I used to use that like old vintage gauze bandage, and it was like my favorite. So I'm just cutting a strip of this that is basically the width of my spine. And then I'm just going to glue this on, just a single layer, just like that. Just a single layer. I'm going to trim this off. And I hope this glue is not going to give me a hard time. Anyway, oh, it's good. Using a very small amount of this glue too. Like I don't need a bunch. The more glue you put in a spine area like this, the more, you know, the more bulk you add in there, the more difficult it becomes for the cover to actually, you know, flex. So, you know, you just don't want to use a ton of glue. I actually used PVA when I was doing this collaging too. So I didn't use a glue stick like I normally do. So I'm just using my finger, spreading out this glue. And I do kind of like how it looks when it sort of sticks out the bottom a little bit and a little bit out the top. If you don't have this like super fine cheesecloth, you can use regular cheesecloth. It doesn't matter. Just any kind of cheesecloth. Or even just some kind of really thin linen or other fabric. You know, I just like to use a really thin fabric because like I said, I don't want to add a bunch of bulk in there. I should be doing this with a brush, but I wasn't set up to do that at the moment. Anyway, this is just a dry brush. So I'm just trying to smooth that down and then let this dry. And I wanted to use this cheesecloth because I do like the way the collage looks, and I'd like you to still be able to see it, you know. Anyway, so just added a little bit of reinforcement with some cheesecloth over that collaging that I did. And so I think that's going to work out pretty well. And what I'd like to do is just do that on the rest of these books, on the rest of these covers. Just you know, using scrap paper and stuff like that. I might use some of my like end pages too, like the marbled papers and stuff too. So I've got this basket with all these scraps and stuff. So I might use some of that, and then just like book pages and whatnot. And then I think what I'll do after I get done with that is start pulling some pages out of some of the books that I got recently. And I think I'll pull these book blocks over to the desk here and kind of go through them with you guys. I'll do another video. I'm going to end this one here in a minute, but in the next video, I'll kind of go through pulling pages out of some of those book blocks and some of the other sources of you know, papers and stuff that I recently acquired, and you know, just kind of hang out with you guys, and I'll show you how these turn out. I don't know if I'm going to do any stitching on these covers. I might. I don't know. I have to decide. But if I do, I will do that with you guys on camera, okay? Because I've had quite a few people say, I don't know how you do that. I think I did do it on a recent video, but anyway, so that's that. I just kind of wanted to show you guys what I'm working on and show you how much headache it was to gut these, and say hello, because I haven't done any kind of crafty videos for a while now, and also say thank you for your support with the book sale. Everything did get shipped out, and yeah, so now if you're a regular viewer, if you have not you know, been around for one of the previous book sales, now you kind of know how it's going to work. And I think next time we're going to do it on my Etsy shop, but that's okay. That's all details. Anyway, so thanks you guys, and don't forget, leave me movie suggestions in the comments if you have any good ones that you think I might like. I really have a tendency to like newer movies too. I don't really like super old movies, you know, newer as in like the last 10 to 20 years. But anyway, I'm being picky now. But so yeah, so we're gonna do a series of, let's see, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 journals. Okay, and I'm gonna try to get these done by, let's say, Let's say by Sebastian's birthday. Sebastian's birthday is the 17th of December, in case anybody wants to know when that is. But anyway, so yeah, he's going to be 22. Yeah, 22. Anyway, okay, guys. Blah, 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 blah. I love you. Bye for now.